the thing about spiritual NLP is that it's become something of a buzzword, and yet typically the methods that are intended for spiritual transformation are built on the same models, the same assumptions that apply to the behavioral level. So now it turns out this doesn't really work. It just isn't possible to experience the deepest level of transformation using the same models that are so effective at achieving change at a more surface level. In fact, Cuddy Ray has developed a whole new model of stages of change that talk about levels of transformation that's also a new discovery. Now, Connie Ray
Beautiful.
Andreas has developed the wholeness work through her own personal journey. It emerged from a time when she was experiencing a major health crisis that was so intense she actually thought that she was dying. And so at this time, of course, as you can imagine, she was highly motivated and nothing that she already knew was helping. And so she was willing to really let go of everything that she already knew and explore then what she didn't already know. And so she thought, well, spirituality, it helps a lot of people, so maybe it'll help me.
Yeah.
And yeah, so now through this exploration, though, she still has all of her NLP skills, right? And so what she ended up doing is applying NLP precision to what spiritual people talk about in terms of enlightenment and dissolving the ego, all of that. And so what we end up with here is a really precise, step-by-step, reliable path that can lead towards the kinds of states that the spiritual people are talking about.
So you
Yeah.
mentioned a term earlier, which I would, invite you to explain a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. So one way to think about it is that there are stages of transformation. So everybody already knows that in terms of physical development, we go through stages, right?
Hmm.
A newborn baby doesn't know how to roll over yet. So at some point it learns to roll over. A little later it learns how to crawl, then a little later to walk. And, so it doesn't do any good to talk about how to dance, with somebody who isn't rolling over yet or isn't crawling yet. So there are stages that we go through in terms of our physical development. In terms of our mental development, also developmental psychologists have this all mapped out. Now, what Connie Ray has done then is also mapped out the stages that we go through in terms of our transformation. And she has actually 6 dimensions, you could say, of a progression of stages that we go through for our personal transformation. So one progression of stages that we can go through is from force to no force. So at first, when people
Nice.
hasn't heard about any of this, they probably experience themselves as being stuck in the problem. And there's a lot of unconscious force in play that causes this stuckness. Now, then the first thing they might try is willpower. I'm going to, apply a lot of force to get through this, or maybe breakthrough methods of change. So it takes a lot of force to try to get through this. Is the next stage. Then the next stage, and really most of NLP falls into this one, is subtle force or subtle effort to create change. For
Hmm.
example, making the picture brighter. There's a subtle effort there where we are doing something, and yet it's not like a breakthrough. We're not like trying to apply heavy force, but there's still a little bit of force there. Now, the fourth and final stage here is effortless change. So we actually don't need to do anything to make change happen. Instead, we can just gently create the conditions so that change actually just wants to happen, and it happens effortlessly and spontaneously from our most innermost levels of being. And in fact, we're actually undoing the force that's present in the system rather than adding more force or effort.
Ah, that's beautiful. So basically, when you're not using force, you're actually undoing the existing force, which has pushed you to do something that you no longer want to do. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, you can say that way. And of course,